Hello there, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to look at a common test of September 2022, and this is a common test from KwaZulu-Natal province. So we are going to first look at the section A, which is on the first question that we have, question 1. So all our first question are the following are density-dependent factors that can affect population size except. So you'd see that predation do affect, competition do affect, and the spread of disease also do affect. So the odd one out which do not affect is a volcano. So we have C. Then moving on to the next question, it reads we should refer to the diagram showing the human thorax below. So this is the diagram that we have. And of course, the first question reads, which one of the following combinations is correct labels for A, B, and D? So of course, we can indicate our A, our B, and our D. So if you check according to what we are given, in terms of A, it is the trachea as indicated on C. So C becomes the correct, and then we've got B, B being the lungs, and D the alveolus. So we have C as the correct response. So moving on to question 3. Which one of the following correctly refers to the structure function of structure C in the diagram below? So function of C. You go there and you see that C obviously it is for in terms of its function, it is during inhalation it contracts and during exhalation it relaxes. So it gives us a B as the correct responses. Question 1.2, give the correct biological term for each of the following descriptions. And of course, the first part is the relationship between two species that live in close contact with each other for part or all their lives. So we see that this is symbiosis as indicated on 1.2.1. We go to the next part. It reads the control of water content in the blood. Of course, this is osmoregulation. And so we have osmo regulation. And then we check in terms of the next one. The movement of individuals of population out of a habitat is emigration. So we have emigration. On the next part, the blood vessel that carries oxygenated blood filled with waste to the kidney. This is the renal artery. So we have renal artery. Then we go to the next part of our question now, which is 1.3. Indicates whether each of the descriptions in column 1 applies to A only, B only, both A and B, or none of the items in column 2. So we check, of course, first question 1.3.1. One of the species benefits and the other is unaffected. So we have got commensalism and we've got mutualism. So you'd see that the one that is correct, we have A only. So we are saying A only. Remember, mutualism is the ecological interaction between two or more species where each species net benefit. So basically, that's what we have. So we are saying it is a common type of ecological interaction that is mutualism. So that makes it not correct according to what we have. So we go to 1.3.2 carries urine from the kidney to the blood to the bladder. So you see that the one that carries urine from the kidney to the bladder is the ureter A. So the urethra comes, it carries urine from the urinary bladder to the outside of the body. So you'll see that it now takes the urine from the bladder and then carries it outside the body. So it makes it not correct. Then I will go to the next part, which is now 1.3.3. Number of organisms of a particular kind that can be supported by resources in the environment. So our responses we've got census, population density, which all are not correct. So on 3, we are saying none. Why? Because when you're looking at a census, it is an official count or survey, especially of a population, which makes it not correct. And then also, if you look at population density, it is a measurement of population per unit land area. So it doesn't also apply according to our explanation. So we have none, and that is correct. Then in terms of our answer section again, we have that as we are saying. 1.3.1, we have A only, and then 1.3.2, A only, and then we have got none at 1.3.3. Then we move on to the next part, which is now our question 1.4. So 1.4 is the population pyramid below represents the age and gender distribution in South Africa in the year 2020. So this is the age and distribution that we have. And then the first question is state whether South Africa is a developed or developing country by referring to the pyramid above. So if you look at the pyramid, you'll see that we have got more people that are at lower ages. If you look 25 to 29, 20 to 24, that's where we have got the highest population. And if you look again 5 to 9 and 0 to 4, also we have got more people than old age. So we have got a less life expectancy, which makes it a developing country. So it is a developing country. Then state one visible reason for your answer in question 1.4.1. And of course, we are talking about more people at early ages, and then we have got less people at old ages, indicating life expectancy, which is a characteristic of a developing country. So these are the reasons that we have high birth rates, high natality rates, or more individuals in young age. Or we can say lower life expectancy, less people reaching old age. So those are the reasons that we can include. Then we go to the next question. Identify the gender that lives the longest from the pyramid. So you'd say that we do not have an indication of females and males according to our labels. But obviously, this is going to be our female. And we have male on the other side. So if you check, you're going to see that the triangle, the rectangles that we have on the side of females are a bit longer as compared to this side. So it makes the females the correct answer. So we move on to the next question. Give one reason why the South African government must have access to this population pyramid. So it's start to make better plans for the future needs of the country, and also to plan for schools, housing, a hospital, etc. that will be needed. So basically, that's what we have on 1.4.4. And then this marks the end of section A with a total of 20 marks. And of course, we need to move on to the next question, which is on section B. Question 2 is the diagram below represents the structure of the nephron. Of course, this is the diagram that we are given. We've got A, B, and C. And then in terms of the first question, identify part A and also identify part B. So if you check according to what we are given, for A is an afferent arteriole, as indicated in our other section, is afferent arteriole. Then we go to the next one, which is B, which is the Bowman capsule, is indicated. Then we move on to the next part, which is now our question 2.1.2. Identify the process indicated by A, by 1. We have got a 1 that we have here, and B is saying 2, and of course we have 2 is indicated here. So basically that's what we. So on 1 we have a glomerular filtration. So we have it is indicated here. Then we go to the next one, which is 2, which is a tubular reabsorption, is indicated on the other section. And then we move on to the next part of our question, which is question 2.1.3. Explain the presence of proteins in the substance passing through C about the functioning of the nephron. Explain the presence of proteins in the substance passing through C about the function of the nephron. Of course, I refer to C, substance that is passing through C. So we have our C as indicated. The response is the ultrafiltration membranes are damaged, making plasma proteins to be filtered through. So that is what we have. And then we have got an alternative response that we can give in terms of blood pressure is much higher than normal, making plasma proteins to be filtered through. So this is an alternative that we can give. And then in terms of the next question that we are given, Group 2, name the hormone responsible for regulating water in the blood and describe its role when there is a shortage of water in the blood. So the response is that the pituitary gland secretes more ADH into the blood, and then ADH increases the permeability of the kidney tubules and still convoluted tubules and collecting tubules. So that is what we gave, and we've got other responses that we can give according to that. So we take note our question is got five marks. So 2.3 read the extract below. So you need to go through the extract that you are given. And then I want the first part of the question, name the type of competence that occurs between the members of a sample antelope population. So if you go through, you see that there is a competence that is existing between sable antelope and young sable. As there is competition amongst the members of the sable antelope population. So in that case, it becomes the type of competition that is there brings in intra-specific competition. So I remember intra-specific competition. This is an interaction. This is an interaction that we have in the population ecology, whereby members of the same same specifics they compete for limited resources. So basically, that's what we have there, whereby we have got members of the same species that are competing for limited resources. So if you refer back, according to our extract, you would see that the competition that is there is because of limited resources. So with that, we move on to the next part of our question, which is saying, set one resource mentioned in the passage that members of the sable antelope can compete for. So if you refer back to the extract, so we can see that there is grass that is being mentioned. So there is competition for grass is also indicated as grass and water. So we move on to the next part, which is 2.3.3. Give one reason why feeding during the day increases sable antelope's chances of survival. So you'd see that high chances of being eaten by predators at night. So obviously at night, there are high chances that there are predators. So that's what we have on that one. We go to the next one, which is 2.3.4. Explain why chances of the population of the sable antelope and the population of their predators reaching carrying capacity are limited. So the response is that the population of the sable antelope and the population of their predators influence each other, and also when the population of sable antelope increases and the population of their predators increases due to availability of food source. Then we also have an alternative explanation in terms of that, and we can move on to our 2 points. Our next question, which is our 2.4. The population of species Z was determined in a particular area, and the results are illustrated in the table below. So these are the results. So of course, we have got three columns that we have. And then in terms of the first question, name the technique used to determine the population of species Z. So you'd see that this is the mark and capture method as indicated 2.4.1. Mark and capture method. And then in terms of the next question, estimate the total population of species Z in the area using the formula P equals to M times C times R. And of course, this is the one that is indicating our P, and this is our C, and this is our R. So basically, it's going to be our this is sorry, this is going to indicate our M is our first. So our M is 23, and then we multiply by our C, which is 29. And with that, obviously, we're going to divide by our R, which is 11. This is exactly the calculation that we have here. And then if you calculate like that, you're going to get your answer is 61. So this marks the end of our question 2 with a total of 20 marks. Question 3 and 3.1 is grade level learners carried out the investigation to determine the effect of physical activity on the heart rate and breathing rate of humans. The procedure of the investigation was as follows. So this is the procedure that we are given. The table below shows the result of the investigation. So this is the result of the investigation, whereby we got a column for physical activity, average heart rate, average breathing rate. So that is what we have. And then with that, um, the first part of the question is identify the independent variable in the investigation. Remember, when it's an independent variable, it's a variable that does not depend on the variations of another variable. So in that case, according to what we are given, we see that we have got physical activity is not going to be affected by other variables that are inside. Of course, we are going to have the heart rate, we're going to have the breathing rate. So physical activity becomes the variable that we have, the independent variable that we have. So it's indicated, we are saying 3.1.1 physical activity. So the next question, state two planning steps in the learners considered for this investigation. Explain two planning steps the learners considered before this investigation with 2 marks. So the planning step, the steps that we have is that they asked learners permission, decided on the type of physical activities, and decided how to measure the heart rate and breathing rate, decided how to record the result of the investigation, and decided the venue. So the next question, set one way in which the learners ensure the validity of their investigation. So with that, I will see that the leaders are same age, and the leaders walked same distance, leaders run same distance. So ran same distance. So this is another point that you can also include. 2.1.4, state the effect of running on the breathing rate using the results in table above. So running and the breathing rates we're having here. Running, when we are running, the breathing rate increases. So see that when you are resting, we put a low breathing rate. When you are walking, it becomes more and more when you are running. So that's what we have. That is 3.1.4. We are saying the latest breathing rate increased. So that's what we have on that part. 3.1.5, explain your answer in question 3.1.4. So in terms of that, we are saying it enables more carbon dioxide to be removed out of the body quickly. That is exhaled. That if we have when we are running, when we have got an increased breathing rate, then we go to 3.1.6, calculate the difference in the learner's heart rate between rest and running. In the heart rate, rest and running, rest is 71, running is 120. So saying 120 minus 71, get 49 beats per minute. So that's the calculation that we have. And then we move on to the next part. Set the conclusion that can be drawn from the result of the investigation. So what is the conclusion that we can draw from the result of the investigation? Physical activities increase heart rate and breathing rate. So if you're doing physical activities, so heart rate and breathing rate will increase. So we move on to the next part, which is now 3.2. The graph below shows the growth pattern of a population over time. We've got time horizontal axis and then population size on the vertical axis. And then name the type of growth form shown in the graph. So basically, the question needs us to name the type of growth form that is shown in the graph. The logistics growth form is indicated. We have the logistic growth form. And then on the next question, identify phase one, it states a reason for your answer. So of course, phase one, we have this part is our phase. So you would see that we have got a gradual increase in population size. If you look in phase one, which makes it the leg phase. So this is the leg phase. So we are saying leg phase, and there is a gradual or little increase, or you can say no increase in population size. So that's what we have. And then and we go to 3.2.3, identify the phase of the graph above where natality is equal to mortality. So it is a phase 4. Then if you check, so you can indicate our phase 4. Then population growth is the fastest. So we check here, where do we have and the one that has got a steep, where we have got the steep slope of the curve. That's where we have at the fastest of this, we are having the steepest of it on phase 2. So phase 2 is our response on that part, which is this part. So we indicate phase 2. And the environmental resistance comes into effect. So we check, we see that we have got a phase 3, where it's now gradually becoming more flatter. So we have phase 3 is indicated here. Then we've got natality exceeds mortality to the greatest extent. And we check according to our responses, we see that we have a phase 2. So we can indicate our phase 2. Then 3.2.4, explain why it may take longer for the human population to reach the type of growth shown above. So our response is that humans are able to overcome limiting factors and by use of mechanized agriculture to produce enough food. So we have got also alternative response that we can give in terms of humans are able to overcome environmental resistance. That is the first point. And then by development of medicines for treatment of diseases. And this is the end of our question paper. That is September test of 2022 with a total of 60 marks. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. And please, let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel, and we'll meet again in the next video.